For 8 years, Nancy had poured all her love, hope, and energy into a dream that seemed just out of reach. Every month, the faintest signs of hope flickered, only to be extinguished by the cold reality of another negative test. The longing for a child consumed her, not just as a dream of motherhood, but as a symbol of all the things she had worked so hard for in life. Yet, despite her relentless efforts, her body seemed to betray her. The first few years were filled with cautious optimism. Nancy and her husband, Tom, had just begun their journey together when they decided to try for a baby. Early on, everything seemed to be going as planned. But months turned into years, and with every passing cycle, doubt crept in. Her friends and family, some of whom had children of their own, offered well-meaning words of encouragement, but Nancy's heart felt heavy with a sense of failure she could never quite shake. The pain of the journey was not just in the physical struggles, but in the emotional toll. Every visit to the doctor was a reminder of the unanswered questions. "Why can't I carry a child?" she would ask herself, sitting alone in her car after another failed appointment. Every test, every procedure, seemed to reveal nothing, and each time the hope that she'd finally get the answer she longed for slipped further away. But Nancy had always been a woman of determination. The loss, the pain, and the disappointment were unbearable at times, yet she found a way to keep moving forward. She refused to let the setbacks define her. She reminded herself that her worth wasn't tied to whether or not she could have children. She was still the same Nancy, strong, compassionate, and deserving of happiness. Over time, she began to focus on healing herself. She embraced a new form of self-care, not just in body, but in spirit. Yoga became her sanctuary, a place where she could breathe and let go of the negative energy that weighed her down. She sought therapy, where she learned to cope with the emotions of infertility, and slowly, she began to accept that this part of her journey didn't have to be a defeat. Then came the day she received an unexpected call. The clinic had an opening for a new round of IVF. Though she had considered giving up on treatments, something inside her stirred. It was as if fate had given her one last chance. Nancy and Tom decided to take it. The journey was long, the emotional rollercoaster never stopped, but Nancy's spirit was stronger than ever. With each small victory, she celebrated the woman she had become, resilient, powerful, and capable of more than she ever realized. And then, one bright morning, the test came back positive. Tears streamed down Nancy's face as she held the test in her trembling hands. It was not just the joy of becoming a mother that overwhelmed her, but the profound realization that this was the culmination of all the struggles she had endured. She had kept going, even when it felt impossible. She had chosen hope when it seemed like the only thing left was despair. In that moment, Nancy knew that the journey had not been in vain. She had carried more than just the promise of motherhood. She had carried strength, patience, and an unwavering belief in herself. And now, as she prepared to welcome her first child, she understood that sometimes, the hardest paths lead to the most beautiful destinations.